Welcome to the Education Exchange. I'm your host, Superintendent Jeremy Calles, here at the Tolleson Union High School District. And with me here today is one of our newest board members. Miguel, can you introduce yourself to the
Yeah,
crowd?
absolutely. My name is Miguel Ortega-Romero. I'm a new board member here. And fun fact, I am a La Jolla graduate.
All right. And on that note, let's tee off this conversation by talking about that La Jolla experience. So, how,
Yeah.
how was high school for you when you went through La Jolla?
Yeah, I mean, pretty standard. I was, involved in different clubs, and part of that was being in student council. I think what really kind of kicked off this interest into becoming a board member was actually I was a at the time Nora Gutierrez had a superintendent council, and the principals would select two students from each school. So we would come to monthly meetings and kind of give some updates of academic achievements and some other celebratory updates. So yeah, that's what kind of got me interested. And other than that, I mean, high school I really enjoyed it. It was really mentors and teachers that kind of inspired me to continue education, and just focus on our community and education.
So you're on student council, very involved during your high school years there at the La Jolla campus. Let's start with the positive stuff. What were some of the things that when you were in student council that you definitely saw going right on the campus and you hope are still continuing today?
Yeah, I have to say the engagement with teachers I think was the best. Like I said, it really did shape me who I am today, and I couldn't be more grateful to them. So that's definitely one of the plus there.
And on the other side of that coin, so while you're on student council, obviously other students would come up to you with ideas on ways that the campus could be improved. What are some of the things I know you've had a chance to go back and tour the school again since then. What are some of the things that you still see left as outstanding, still on the table, like things you'd like to see addressed during your time as a governing board
I
member?
see. Yeah. So at the time, I mean, obviously, we know that this is an outdoor campus. Many students brought a lot of ideas with, creating shade. I went back and I saw that that was addressed, so I like that. I think building maybe more shade in different areas of the campus, more eating areas. Obviously, there's across the district, there's updates and renovations everywhere. So, I mean, I would kind of like to see that back at my home campus. Particularly, I know, there's been some lunchroom updates. So, I would love to see that. Maybe some athletic updates. Um, you know, yeah, so that's pretty much a lot of kind of what I've seen so far.
Well, shade's definitely a big priority, here in Arizona where it gets extremely hot,
Yeah.
especially as we get into the summer months. Um, what are some of the other goals? So maybe not just limiting just to La Jolla, but what are some of the other goals, some of the other aspirations you have for improving our district and moving our district forward?
Yeah, as I'm 2.5 months into my role, and I'm still, kind of taking it all in, learning a bunch. But one of the things that I would really like to see is a focus on our athletic programs, and I say that also from an experience from high school. So I do recognize that there's many of my peers that were able to pursue a higher education because of a athletic scholarship. So we're able to have these opportunities for students. I believe that not only will we get them to graduate a larger graduation rate, but also they'll be able to pursue a higher education. And kind of to go along with that, I graduated in 2020, so it was the pandemic was going on, and a lot of resources weren't promoted the greatest because of the pandemic. Obviously, it was a time where there was a lot going on, and I think the focus was mainly public health. Um, so I would like to see a lot of our seniors, maybe even juniors, get exposure to some of the opportunities available. Um, so that's definitely one of kind of my initiatives that I would like to see. But there's something always happening in our district, which is great, and definitely we're here to support students and teachers and the staff. So anything that we could really address or help with, I would love to kind of get to know more about.
So that's an interesting take that you have, an experience that you have that no one else on the governing board, no one else in our senior leadership or our site leadership has, that you know what it was like to be a student during the pandemic. You know what that shift meant for you when all of a sudden your whole routine was completely disrupted. You had to shift to online education. You know what that was like to, be torn apart from your friends, everything else. We're still trying to figure out how to help students recover from that. What ideas and thoughts would you have on what could make students re-engage back into the system, trust the system again, and help them recover to life after the pandemic?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, definitely, in a time of public health is super important to address. But if I was, let's say going back to high school tomorrow, some of the things that I believe would bring back some of these engagement to students is a culture aspect. Culture is always vital. It rebuilds, it restrengthens, and I mean, I would love to see more engagement in our clubs and our sports. I believe that once we have an engaged either athletic or clubs. It rebuilds everything. It invites people. It brings people onto our campuses, which is great. We always want to see our community engaged, not just students, but yeah, I would definitely say kind of build up that culture. Strengthen the way we engage with students. But I would also like to add that we're in a unique time now. For example, when I was a student, we didn't have personal laptops to take home, and now we do. So that's an investment that students we made in students that the district has, and you know I think just a lot of things have changed. So will we possibly get back to that place where we were uh, pre-pandemic? I don't think so, but I will say we do have opportunity to, increase in other areas where we can build that engagement in at a different level, if that makes sense.
Oh, absolutely. And then that was a great point you brought up. Not everything that came out of the pandemic was necessarily bad, because that did cause a lot of districts to shift and get them to be comfortable with students taking devices home, keeping devices over weekends, and and accepting those devices essentially as their own personal device. That was something that instantly became necessary with the pandemic, and it's something that has stuck around in school districts, including ours, after the pandemic. So, yeah, increasing those clubs, finding what they care about to reengage, definitely something that we want to focus on. You've had now, a few months to get settled
Yeah.
in as a new board member. Um, that first month was a little exciting. We had a lot of board meetings that first month. So even though if it's only been a few months, it probably feels like a lot
Yeah.
longer just because of all the board meetings. So far, and I know it's just at the beginning, how much of this role is what you expected it to be? How much is in line with what your expectations were when you're like, I'm going to go be a board member. This is how I'm going to make a difference for my community. How well is it meeting that expectation?
Yeah, I think off of the eye that we all see. I mean, we've all kind of participated. Well, not being on the board, I participated a few times as just a community member, and that part is all I expected. The talking, being able to ask these questions, view the presentations, but there's a lot more behind the scenes that I didn't know about. So I would say it's pretty 50-50. There's things, obviously, from a community lens we see, but like for example, I wasn't too familiar with like an executive session. That's something that the community doesn't obviously see. And now as a board member, like you see it, and you talk and have different discussions there. Um, yeah, I would just say it's about 50-50. Yeah.
All right. And so now, as you're starting to get settled in, um, obviously everyone out there with different perspectives, they have a lot of ideas on how our district can be better. What is your preferred approach to figure out how to get those ideas to the top? Do you prefer that people reach out to you? Do you like when we have organized meetings where we can have people sharing their feedback or data collected that can be brought to you? Like what is your how do you like to receive information when trying to figure out what the community cares about?
Yeah, I mean, there's different ways. I'd say probably the top one is through our public participation during our governing board meetings. I'm always taking down notes, regardless of what uh, our community members are saying. I'm always just taking down what they're saying. Other ways, for me, is I visited different campuses and was able to kind of also take down notes and different ideas, but also concerns. That's definitely something really important that we always want to address. And lastly, always reaching out to my email listed in the website of our district office. Because I would definitely love to hear back from different ideas, whether it's a student or teacher, parent, community member. Uh, you know, we're all, kind of in this together. We're all a community. We're all involved in one way or another. So it's important to share back that feedback.
Now you get to be a part of something very unique, something that not all board members get to do, and that's building a new high school.
Yeah.
So you've had a study session already now where we got to share ideas on thoughts and wishes for the new high school. But I want you to narrow it down to one. So I mean I know you filled out a lot of sticky notes on that study session, but just one thing where the high school's built, you're walking onto the campus and you see something, you're like, yes, that's the idea I brought to the table. That's what I really wanted to see here. What would be that one thing? The one thing you're really looking forward to seeing in our new high school?
Yeah. I mean, such a great question. I don't even know how to narrow it down, but I I would just love to have the campus feel have a college feel to it. I think that while I visited West Point, it kind of gives that feel. I would just love to see um like greenery. Obviously we live in the desert, so that's a little bit hard, but there is alternatives, and I would just love to see a great environment where a student feels, one, proud to attend that school, and two, they feel comfortable, they feel like this is a learning environment, they feel safe, and that's something that I would love to kind of bring, people and students do feel that.
All right, some greenery, and then based on your answers earlier, I'm going to say greenery and some shade,
Yeah.
some nice shaded green spots where people get to feel free to relax
Yeah.
and work on their laptops.
Hmm.
Have that real college campus feel to it. That'll be
Yeah.
good. So we do this show for all of our parents, our students, to help empower our parents, enlighten our students. Uh, what's something that they could know about you? So something where they know that you can relate to them, things that you care about. What information can you share with them about you?
Yeah. I would love to, build as much trust and confidence. And I would just say to those parents that bring any ideas, concerns. They're always welcome with me. And I say that as a former student. I say that as part of our working class in our community. I am no different than any other community member in our amazing district. So please feel free to let me know, different ideas, concerns, questions. I'll try my best to address them, and to bring, positive solutions to our board. Yeah, and for any students watching as well, like I was there 5 years ago. I know maybe not exactly, but very similar to the experience that you're going through. So, you know, everything is welcome. Let me know some of the things that you're seeing on your campus, or different solutions you think that may work. So I would love to hear them.
Appreciate you again for coming on the show and being there for our community. And we also appreciate all of our listeners for tuning in once again to the Education Exchange, where we aim to enlighten our parents and empower our students. And we look forward to seeing you again next time.
And that's the end of our show. Thank you for listening. If you have questions, want more information, or would like to be a guest on the Education Exchange, please send us an email at podcast@tuhsd.org. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, give us a like, and tune in next week to the Education Exchange. You can catch all episodes on your favorite streaming devices or directly at www.tuhsd.org/podcast.